If you want to buy a reliable, high-performance German luxury sedan right now, the absolute smartest thing you can do is to go out and buy an American Buick.
Yep. It sounds crazy, I know.
I know, it sounds completely ridiculous. But if you stick around for this deep dive, you are about to save yourself a massive amount of money.
Oh, absolutely. A life-changing amount for some people.
Because, well, it is a really frustrating reality for anyone shopping for a used car today. You try to do the responsible thing, right? You look for a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord.
The standard go-to choices.
Right. But then you look at the price tag and you realize you're paying this absolute premium just for the badge on the grill. It's like going to a department store and buying a completely basic thin cotton T-shirt. But because it has some designer logo slapped right on the front, it costs 3 times as much.
Yeah.
You're paying for the brand's marketing budget, not the material itself.
That is exactly the reality of the used car market right now. That brand name tax is incredibly steep. I mean, people are understandably desperate for reliability, so they flock to the exact same 2 or 3 models.
It creates an echo chamber.
Exactly. Everyone wants a Camry, which artificially inflates the prices to the point where they really aren't good deals anymore. You're paying for the reputation, not the metal you're actually driving.
So we need to bypass the echo chamber entirely. Our mission for this deep dive is to uncover the ultimate mechanic's secret. We've got a stack of automotive research here detailing 3 specific, highly overlooked vehicles sitting on used car lots right now.
Cars that people just walk right past.
Right. And I'm stepping into this as the eager, budget-conscious car shopper who just wants a steal. And I'm looking to you as the seasoned mechanic here. Because the data shows that salespeople literally cannot give these 3 cars away.
It's true.
But the mechanics turning the wrenches are quietly snatching them up for their own families.
They are, because professionals in the bays know that these 3 specific cars can easily hit 300,000 miles with just, basic maintenance.
Which is wild.
It is. But because the general public ignores them, they cost a fraction of the price of their famous rivals. If you want to stop paying for a trendy label, you have to look at the brands people are actively ignoring. And as you tease at the beginning, our sources point to a really surprising brand first.
Buick.
Yes.
Buick.
Okay, I have to push back here right out of the gate. A Buick.
I know.
Isn't that what my great uncle drives to the golf course at like 6 in the morning on a Tuesday?
Yep.
I hear the word Buick and I picture a massive floaty land yacht with absolutely zero road feel.
And that reaction right there is the exact reason this car is such a massive steal. People assume exactly what you just said. But we are talking specifically about the 2nd-generation Buick Regal.
Okay.
Produced around the 2010s up to 2017. Mechanics love this car because it is a masterclass in disguise. It is not really a traditional American Buick at all. What do you mean by that? Like, if it has a Buick badge glued to the trunk, how is it not a Buick?
Well, it comes down to global automotive manufacturing. The 2nd-gen Regal sits on General Motors' Epsilon 2 platform.
Okay, platform meaning?
A platform in the car world is the actual skeleton of the vehicle.
Yeah.
It dictates the floor pan, the structural crash safety cage, the wheelbase, the suspension geometry.
Got it.
And GM co-developed the Epsilon 2 platform with Opel, which is a German automaker.
Oh, wait. Let me make sure I'm wrapping my head around this. So it's like a real estate developer building a high-end luxury home and a budget home, but pouring the exact same foundation and framing for both.
Yes, perfect analogy.
So this American sedan actually has the structural bones of a German car.
You've got it. Because of that German engineering, it has a stiffer chassis and tighter suspension tuning. It doesn't float around like a traditional American boat.
Okay, that's interesting.
But it gets even better when you open the hood. It's powered by a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder known as the LTG engine, which actually won multiple industry awards for its design.
Nice.
And the real crown jewel of reliability here is the transmission. It uses a rock-solid 6-speed automatic made by a company called Aisin.
Aisin. I feel like I read about them when I was researching Toyota trucks a while back.
You definitely have. Aisin is a Japanese manufacturing juggernaut, and they supply transmissions for Toyota.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you are getting the tight handling, the planted chassis, and the feel of German engineering, but it's paired with the bulletproof reliability of a Japanese transmission.
That's a crazy combination.
Right. But because it has that uncool Buick badge on the hood, it is priced at cheap domestic vehicle pricing.
Because the market just doesn't know what's underneath the sheet metal.
Exactly.
So let's talk numbers. What does this international hybrid actually cost?
Well, according to the current market data, you can pick up a 2015 Buick Regal with under 80,000 miles for somewhere between $8,500 and $11,000.
Wait, under 11K? For a car with less than 80,000 miles? That feels like a typo.
It's real. I mean, for comparison, if you wanted a similar year BMW 328i.
Right, which is the German equivalent.
Exactly, which gives you a similar size and that German driving dynamic, you would be paying $14,000 to $18,000 for the BMW. And when things inevitably break, the Regal's repair costs are a fraction of what you would pay for imported BMW parts.
Okay, I am sold on the concept. It's like finding a high-end, custom-built gaming PC, but it's hidden inside a beige, boring, heavy 1990s desktop tower.
That is a great way to put it.
Nobody gives it a second look, but it performs like an absolute beast. But, no car is perfect.
Yeah.
I was reading through the service bulletins in our research, and they mentioned checking the PCV valve and the turbo inlet pipe. Why are those specific parts failing?
Great question. PCV stands for positive crankcase ventilation. When an engine runs, some explosive gases slip past the piston rings into the bottom of the engine. If that pressure isn't vented out, it forces engine oil out of the gaskets. The Regal's PCV valve can get clogged with carbon over time.
Ah, so the pressure builds up.
Exactly. It's a cheap part, but if you don't check the service history to see if it was replaced, you could end up with blown oil seals, which is an expensive fix.
Good to know. And what about the turbo inlet pipe?
That pipe channels air into the turbocharger because it's made of plastic and sits right next to a turbo that gets, glowing hot.
Oh, plastic next to a glowing hot turbo sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, the constant extreme heating and cooling cycles make the plastic brittle. It cracks, which lets unmetered, unfiltered air into the engine. That throws off the air-fuel ratio and causes it to run poorly.
So pop the hood and physically look for hairline cracks in that plastic tube.
Exactly. And lastly, get inside and press the touchscreen on the dashboard. You're checking to make sure the digitizer isn't starting to delaminate, which looks like a bubble forming under the glass.
Okay, so look for oil leaks from a clogged PCV. Check the plastic turbo pipe for heat cracks and watch out for a bubbling touchscreen. Got it. So the Buick is brilliant because it hides complex international parts under a boring badge.
Right.
But what if I don't want complex parts at all? Like, what if my budget is so tight that the thought of a turbocharger failing gives me a panic attack?
Then you want a vehicle that our sources refer to as a depreciating diamond.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
We're moving away from international hybrids to a car that brilliantly rejects modern complexity entirely. The third-generation Mazda 6.
Okay.
This is a vehicle that mechanics are actually disappointed to see rolling into the shop.
Disappointed. Why? Is the engine bay, like, too cramped to get a wrench in there?
No, they're disappointed because there is never anything broken to fix.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't generate any major repair hours for the shop. For the third-generation Mazda 6, the maintenance is almost entirely just oil changes, brake pads, and replacing the tires.
That sounds like a dream.
Mazda's secret is profound in its simplicity. They actively decided to swim against the current of modern car design.
How so? Because modern cars feel like rolling supercomputers that require a software update just to roll down the windows. How did Mazda avoid that?
Well, under the hood, you have their Skyactive 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine. A lot of cars use a rubber timing belt to keep the engine's internal parts synchronized.
Right.
But rubber degrades and snaps, destroying the engine instantly. Mazda uses a heavy-duty timing chain instead.
So it's the difference between a thick rubber band that will eventually snap without warning versus like a metal bicycle chain that is constantly bathed in oil and basically lasts the entire life of the vehicle.
Exactly the right way to visualize it. And the real differentiator is the transmission. They paired that engine with a traditional smooth-shifting 6-speed automatic.
Okay, I want to pause you right there because I've been doing my own research.
Let's hear it.
The auto industry is obsessed with continuously variable transmissions, or CVTs. I read that CVTs are the new standard for squeezing out better fuel economy. So why is this older traditional 6-speed style better?
Well, CVTs do offer tiny improvements in fuel economy, but at a massive cost to durability. Think about how a CVT works.
Right.
It usually relies on a steel belt slipping between two smooth, conical metal pulleys.
But it sounds like it would create a lot of friction.
A massive amount of friction and heat, and they are notorious for shedding metal shavings into the transmission fluid and failing early, and they are incredibly expensive to replace.
Oh, yikes.
A traditional six-speed automatic, like the one in the Mazda, uses physical, locked steel planetary gears. It's a proven, battle-tested technology. It just works year after year without tearing itself apart.
So the modern fragile CVTs are like those overly complicated smart fridges you buy today with a touchscreen and Wi-Fi that inexplicably break down in 2 years. Meanwhile, this Mazda 6 transmission is like an indestructible stainless steel toaster from the 1980s. It only does one thing, but it will probably survive the apocalypse.
It perfectly rejects the shiny, fragile new tech in favor of reliable, proven engineering. And because the broader market tends to ignore the Mazda 6 in favor of the Camry or Accord, the depreciation on these cars is staggering.
So what are we talking for price?
You can easily find a 2017 Mazda 6 Touring Edition with around 70,000 miles for roughly $12,000 to $14,000.
Let's put that in perspective. How does that compare to the heavy hitters?
That is about $5,000 cheaper than a Toyota Camry of the exact same year and mileage.
$5,000. You could buy the Mazda 6, take a luxury vacation, and still have money left over to pay for a year of gas, all for the price of one used Camry.
Which is why the sources confidently state it is the best dollars per mile deal in the entire mid-size sedan category.
Amazing.
But we do need to talk about the mechanics checklist before you just go out and buy one.
Right. What's the catch? What am I looking for on the test drive?
When you're sitting in the driver's seat, interact with the infotainment control knob on the center console. You're checking to see if the material feels degraded and sticky.
Okay, sticky knob.
Also, if you're looking at the slightly older 2014 to 2015 models, walk around the exterior and watch closely for any bubbling under the paint, which was an issue with their factory application process.
Good tip.
Finally, during the test drive, get the car up to exactly 45 miles per hour.
Why 45 miles per hour specifically? That seems incredibly precise.
It is. At around 45 miles per hour, the transmission shifts into its highest overdrive gear to save fuel, which drops the engine RPMs very low.
Okay.
This creates a specific low-frequency harmonic vibration. The engine is essentially lugging. The rubber motor mounts that hold the engine in place are designed to absorb that frequency.
But if they're worn out?
Exactly. If those rubber mounts are worn out or cracked, they can't absorb the vibration, and it transfers directly into the chassis. So at 45 miles per hour, you want to feel the steering wheel for a distinct shudder. It's not a deal breaker, but replacing motor mounts is an added cost, so you use that shudder to negotiate the price down.
Okay, so sticky infotainment knob, factory paint bubbling on the older models, and a shudder at 45 miles per hour signaling bad motor mounts. So the Mazda is the ultimate keep it simple, stupid, practical choice.
Right.
But let's change the scenario. Let's say I spend 2 hours a day commuting on a miserable, pothole-filled highway. I want a quiet cabin, I want plush seats, I want actual luxury, but I still completely refuse to pay the luxury brand tax. What is the insider play here?
Oh, this brings us to the ultimate #1 insider pick on the list. This is the vehicle that capitalizes on a demographic secret.
A demographic secret.
Yes, the absolute best luxury car you can buy for under $15,000 is the 7th generation Toyota Avalon.
The Toyota Avalon.
I am dead serious.
You were telling me the ultimate insider mechanic secret is the quintessential grandma car. That is the car that takes up 2 parking spaces at the grocery store while the turn signal is just perpetually left on.
Look, I know the reputation, but that uncool image is exactly its greatest superpower.
How so?
People ignore it because they think it's just a bloated sedan for retirees. But if we strip away the marketing, the 7th generation Toyota Avalon is literally a Lexus ES 350 in disguise.
Wait, literally? People throw that word around a lot. Do you mean they just share a few generic parts?
I mean, literally. They share the exact same assembly line in Georgetown, Kentucky.
No way.
Yes. The Avalon is built on the same structural platform as the Lexus ES 350. It uses the exact same legendary 3.5-liter V6 engine known as the 2GR FE, and it uses the exact same transmission.
Wow.
The engineering underneath is identical luxury, but because it wears a Toyota badge instead of a Lexus L on the grille, it sells for $7,000 to $8,000 less than the mechanically identical Lexus models on the used market.
That is a staggering discount.
And because of the strange dynamics of the used car market and the massive demand for the Camry, a used Avalon is astonishingly even cheaper than a used Camry of the exact same year.
My mind is slightly blown here. You can get the flagship, top-tier, luxury-level V6 Toyota sedan for less money than their standard mid-level commuter car. just because the commuter car has better name recognition.
That is the brand tax in action.
Unbelievable.
And mechanics love the Avalon because that specific 3.5-liter V6 engine is famously overbuilt. The internal components are so robust that mechanics regularly see them push past 350,000 and even 400,000 miles, completely on their original transmissions.
400,000 miles. That's like to the moon and almost all the way back.
Yeah, it's wild.
Okay, what's the mechanic's checklist for the Avalon? What usually goes wrong?
Well, if you're looking at a 2013 or 2014 model, you need to check the VIN number to see if it was part of a dashboard recall.
The dashboard recall.
Yeah, the soft touch materials on the dash were prone to severe UV degradation from the sun, causing them to literally melt and get permanently sticky.
Oh, that sounds gross.
It is. Second, when you walk around the car, look at the front tires specifically to see if there is any uneven wear on the tread.
Why the front tires specifically?
Because you have a massive heavy V6 engine sitting transversely directly over the front drive wheels, that is a lot of weight bearing down on the front suspension. So if the alignment is even slightly off, that sheer weight will scrub the front tires raw on the edges very quickly.
Makes sense.
And finally, inside, test the touchscreen to see if there is a noticeable computer lag when you press the buttons, as the older infotainment systems can get pretty sluggish over time.
Okay, dashboard recall for melting plastic, front tire wear because of the heavy V6, and touchscreen lag.
Got it.
Got it. But earlier you mentioned a demographic secret regarding the Avalon. Why does a grandma car reputation actually give the buyer a mechanical advantage?
The expert advice here is to actively search for Avalons that were owned by elderly people because of the physics of how they drive.
The physics.
Think about it. Cold starts are when 90% of engine wear happens.
Right, because the oil hasn't circulated yet.
Exactly. Elderly owners typically have the time to let the car warm up. They don't floor the accelerator from a red light, which means they aren't spiking the oil pressure or putting sheer stress on the transmission bands.
Oh, that is so true.
Furthermore, they usually garage their vehicles, protecting the paint, the rubber hoses, and that dashboard from UV degradation.
And they probably keep up with the maintenance too, right?
Yes. Most importantly, they usually have the disposable income to never miss a scheduled maintenance appointment at the dealership.
Wow. I never thought about the physics of it. By buying a car with a boring reputation, you are almost guaranteeing that the previous owner drove it gently, keeping the thermal shock and fluid degradation to an absolute minimum.
Bingo.
The uncool factor drives the purchase price down, while simultaneously ensuring the mechanical quality remains incredibly high.
It is playing the statistics of the market perfectly to your advantage.
This has been an incredibly eye-opening deep dive. We started out frustrated by the sheer cost of the brand name tax on your average Camrys and Accords, but we found 3 completely different ways to beat the system.
3 solid options.
We can seek out hidden international hybrids, like the Buick Regal, which gives us German structural handling and Japanese transmission reliability for dirt cheap.
Yep.
We can opt for the brilliant, indestructible simplicity of the Mazda 6, which rejects complex engineering like fragile CVTs and turbochargers entirely to save us money.
Absolutely.
Or we can embrace the ultimate luxury sleeper, the Toyota Avalon, and let the demographic realities of a grandma car score us a deeply discounted, immaculately maintained Lexus.
See, that is the core philosophy here, and it is the one thing I really hope people take away. Buy the engineering, not the badge.
Yeah.
Stop overpaying for a piece of plastic on the grill. If you do your research, understand the platforms and the mechanics, and find these structurally sound machines, you will get a reliable steal. The golden rule of mechanics applies to all 3. Take care of your car so it takes care of you.
To everyone listening, I want to challenge you. The next time you are staring down a major purchase, whether it's a car, an appliance, or even a laptop, ask yourself if you are paying for the hype for the hardware. Are you focusing on value for money and insider knowledge, or are you just following the crowd and paying a premium for a famous name?
That mindset shift changes everything. I mean, if expert mechanics are quietly buying up these undesirable car models just because they know the bulletproof engineering hiding underneath, it makes you wonder, what other uncool, ignored machines or everyday tools in our lives are actually top-tier quality simply because they lack a trendy logo?